Hello and welcome to Dave's Delightful Dishes. As always, I'm Dave and it is such a delight to have you in my kitchen. And today, we're making chicken soup. Come check it out. Now, this isn't specifically a challenge, but I have had several people ask me, how do you make broth from scratch? And I do it pretty much every year, a couple of times a year, and it's really not that hard. So you have a certain number of ingredients. This particular recipe is a mineral-rich, like super flavorful one, which uses a whole lot more vegetables than a lot of other people use. But this one has got some healing properties in it. I discovered it when I was coming up with a recipe for a relative of mine who was going through chemo. Delicious. Doesn't matter if you're healthy or ill. This is still good. This is still good chicken. And you start with the ingredients, and they look like this. Now, this is also a process that's going to take several hours. So we're going to start off getting things going, and then it's going to be 2 to 3 hours of my time before we get to the next step of starting to skim things off and making adjustments. So let's go ahead over to the cooktop and get things started. All right, so we got a big, you want 12 to 16 quarts for a stock pot for this because you're going to make a bunch of broth. And then this freezes and works well for later. So I have all kinds of vegetables and a chicken. Let's start off by getting the bird laid in there, right in the middle. And then we'll start laying things around it. I've got onions that have been quartered, and everything is skin on here because we want all those nutrients. We'll sieve those out later. So, a couple yellow onions, some sweet potatoes, some regular potatoes. If you have full-size potatoes, that's fine too. I just happen to have all these little new potatoes. A couple of carrots. And these will all be listed in the recipe as far as how many. Celery, parsley, sweet potatoes, all that goes in. Once we add water, you can all mix this, but right now it's just in the pot. And then a head of garlic, where I've taken the extra skin off and split them in half. Apple cider vinegar. Tablespoon of salt, the equivalent of 2 bay leaves, and 20 peppercorns and 4 allspice berries. And then we have to fill this all the way to the top, just the top of the vegetables, so that so everything is submerged. And this is probably going to take 8 quarts. So I'm going to finish filling this up, and I'll put a lid on it and get it boiling. And we will see you in a couple hours when this is ready for us to do another step. Okay, so this is 2 hours in, and we have a lot of stuff started breaking down. The chicken is starting to break up, and we have to go through, and just as you get scum on the surface, and I turn this down to low so it isn't simmering as hard, but you'll get this little scum layer up on the top. And you just gotta, while we're doing this, you want to skim all that off. It makes it easier later. And now 2 hours in, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of turmeric, or turmeric, depending on how you pronounce it. I'm gonna stir that in. And we're gonna get this up to temperature, meaning get it back to a simmer. And we're gonna give it another 2 hours. So I'll see you then. All right, so that's a total of 4 hours. And now I've been skimming the scum off the whole time. But now what we've got to do is all of these vegetables and the chicken, they've given their all. So we got to get them out of there. So for starters, I'm going to take a bigger strainer. And I'm going to use that to scoop a bunch of this stuff out. And you want to let as much of the liquid come out as possible because that's what we're trying to get out of this whole thing. And all this stuff is edible. You could eat this if you wanted to, but it's I've done that, and I've found that all the goodness has been put into the stock. So there's really not a lot left there for enjoyment. All right. So as you can see, there's all that. It's the full chicken is now just bits and bits and bits. So we got to clear all the big stuff out of here, and then we will go over to the sink where I'm then going to strain it one last time for the last bits to get all the stuff out. All right, now that we've gotten most of the solids out, I can strain through just like this, slowly into another pot. All right, and we just let that strain its way down, and then we've got a stock down there. Okay, now that we've gone through the 2 straining processes, we have something that's ready to use. And if I was any smarter, I would remember to put my funnel on top of this, but this is a wide mouth bottle, so it's not really that big a deal. And as you can see, this is a rich broth. And that is now quite hot for me to hold on to, so we're going to call it good right there. And this is pretty delightful. Now I'm probably going to get, these are quart jars. I'm probably going to get 6 or 8 of these, and then I can use them for all kinds of purposes. I mean, you can have this just by itself as chicken stock. You can use it in cooking. You can use it as a base for soups. You can, you could have it as a nice warm drink. But this is full of minerals and vitamins, and all the goodness from all those vegetables and that chicken ended up in this soup. And for part 2, you're going to see me do something with this. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, I hope you really enjoyed this today. What I would love is for you to check out my Facebook page, which will be linked in the description below, as well as my Instagram. These are good places to give me challenges. Let me know what you think of what I'm doing. Give me ideas for things to show you in the future. Also, if you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe and tell your friends. I'd love to have a wider audience, and I think every one of you knows someone who could use some help cooking. Check out my Spreadshirt app on my Facebook page. There you'll see aprons and other merchandise that might tickle your fancy. And other than that, look forward to part 2, where we're going to make some soup out of this. And also, we'll see you at the next recipe. Have a great day.